TwitchCon 2017. Welcome. It's a pleasure to be up here. This is my first TwitchCon, so it's kind of weird to be up here. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Baron Sheep. I mod all of their channels and this panel, and I'm the team manager of Team Adventure Mode, which they're all on. So yeah, we're just gonna click it online. I'm gonna introduce anybody. Right here, we have Business and roommate. He's not a boy, he's not a robot. He's a boy trapped inside a video game console. He lost a bet with the devil, and now he's trapped in there.
Yeah, that's right. It was death.
It was
yeah,
death.
I cheated death, and I was trapped inside this video game console, and that's why I'm currently a video game console.
Talking on this panel here for them.
That's right.
And then we have Scribbly and the professor.
Hello.
And then we have Tradesmare, the Kigurumi King.
Join the crusade for kindness, caring, and compassion, citizens. It's the only way to get ahead in the world.
And then next to him, the master of all things evil, owner of the finest lava in the land, Flaming Monocle.
Hello. It's jolly good to see you all here. This is wonderful. I like this. Me.
And then, of course, last but not least, we have part man, part squirrel, a Merle from outer space, El Dirty Squirrel.
Good day.
And yeah, these are all clearly character streamers. And I know we also have quite a few character streamers in the audience. Those of you that are character streamers, hands up.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Okay, how many of you are thinking about being character streamers? All right, that's what I expected, honestly. And then the rest of you are just awesome. So you guys, everybody hands up.
The rest of you guys are obviously in the wrong place.
You're the normal ones.
Yeah, so they wanted me to put on a sheep costume, but I
Beep, beep.
wouldn't because that would ruin this. Because you see how kind of absurd all of this is?
I take offense to that. I'm an ordinary Englishman. This is just what I wear.
Yeah.
There's nothing weird about what is happening up here currently.
Yeah, you've never seen
What
an
would you
half-man
expect from
I'm not
royalty?
even dressed up.
Yeah, clearly. But you need some kind of like center to realize, oh, there's a normal person up here on stage, and then all of this.
It's kind of ironic that the sheep is now hurting.
Yeah. All weekend, I literally considered getting a stick just to kind of poke them along. It's if somebody has a stick, let me know. Yeah. I think I need some
Don't
big for that
encourage him.
selfie stick. I'm gonna
You
be
admit
honest.
that freely and openly.
So yeah, we're here today because we want all of you to be a character streamer. And so we're going to start off with the obvious answer, or obvious question. What is a character streamer? Because that's the first question we can answer. So we're just going to kind of go down the line quickly. All of you, what do you think being a character streamer means to you?
Well, being a character streamer is deciding that you're going to, kind of put that real life stuff aside and you're going to put on a show for people instead of simply being yourself. So it's finding a way to connect to your audience, but also make the best parts of you shine as well. And I think that's really what it means to be a character streamer.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that after every response, I promise.
Not just for business.
And
I don't
probably
really have-
monocle, but that's...
I don't really have a good answer for that. To me, it was, I knew that if I was going to start streaming, I didn't want to just put on a webcam and hit go. I wanted to do something creative, because I feel very creative as a person. And when I discovered like Twitch and like, I saw the potential of doing something new. And turns out I wasn't the first character streamer at all. I thought I was, but I made this guy, and I couldn't think of another way to stream. If I was going to do it, it was going to be as Scribbly. So that's what drove me to do it, because I wanted to be creative. I wanted to be unique in a way. So that's what got me into character streaming.
That's a good answer.
Thank you.
I would consider character streaming execution and growth of a theme over time until it catalyzes in a personality of its own.
Textbook.
So you have,
Textbook.
huh?
That's a textbook answer.
I mean, I happen to write the book.
I was going to say that was a way better answer than mine.
Oh, no. This is all a reflection of our personal experiences, which is great about what we have going on right here. But yeah, I had an idea, and really the chat helped me become who I am. I listened to them and the words that they used and the things that they said about me. They made me feel like royalty every stream, and now it is true. So thank you. Thank you.
What is a character streamer? Character streamer. Noun. And then it's just got a picture of Kappa. Well, for me, a character streamer, or rather the reason that I felt that character streaming was the right thing for me, was that I had a huge interest in evil characters, specifically in 80s and 90s cartoons growing up, and they held enormous sway with me. And I felt if I was going to stream, I would want to stream all the bits of video games that no one typically plays, like all the naughty routes, all the evil routes, all the, like, you know, I want to blow up Megaton like in 15 seconds. You know, that's the quick. That was my inspiration. But in terms of what made me a character streamer, I wanted to do all these naughty/evil routes, and then I developed this sort of world where I was my own. I crafted my own world in this hidden, flying volcano layer, and after creating this world to exist in, it kind of everything writes itself. And to me, being a character streamer isn't so much I'm going to go and sit down and become a character streamer. I am who I am because of the community that has grown up around me. And evil is an incredibly useful thing from time to time. Like, you can just say #evil, and it's like, okay, carry on. But yeah, it's a world you live in. You may now talk.
Yes. What is a character streamer? Well, everything those guys just said is a character streamer. Yes.
Yeah.
To me, it was a chance to be unique and do something different. And I'm not the best gamer. I got on Twitch. I'm not a great gamer. I mean, I'm good. I'm all right. But I'm a Junkrat main, if that means anything to you guys. So. Yeah, all right. We got one Junkrat out there. All right. So it was just a chance to be unique. I like to get out of my seat and dance around and you guys see everybody walking around here. These are there's thousands and thousands of streamers, and I thought, what can I do to set myself apart and be unique? And so many people come by the channel and they're like, wow, are you a squirrel or something? And then I have to go through my shtick. But it gives me an excuse to be creative, do creative things, and not just turn on a game and play, but to turn into we've turned into a pickle. We've used the time machine where you dance around the treehouse. So it's being a character streamer is just a good excuse to do something different out of the norm for me.
You have a time machine?
I do have a time machine.
He's gonna steal that now. You realize that? He's gonna break into your treehouse.
Yeah.
He's gonna steal a time machine.
Shut up.
Foiled.
You might want to lock the door from time to time. That's all I'm saying. All right. So our next question is why be a character streamer? And I'm actually gonna answer this in a little bit. Yeah.
All right.
So
He's pulling rank. He's got a mind of his own,
am.
this
We're
one.
paid by the hour.
I've got the room home. I'm going to pull rank here. So one of the main things that I love about character streamers is the insane community. I mean, absolutely ridiculously, fanatically religious. Monaco tried to bail on us. We had to send out the Acme SWAT team, which, by the way, we need a different SWAT team because we equipped them with Acme weapons, and it doesn't work well. But yeah, we sent out a call to arms. He missed his flight, for those of you who don't know. He missed his flight and couldn't afford to get a replacement flight. And I sent out a call to arms, and less than 2 hours later, we had enough funds to get him here.
We had enough, so just so you know, we'd actually raised enough to get the replacement tickets before the original plane had actually landed.
And that's not just character streams. That's Twitch on the whole. Twitch builds these communities that do these
Yeah.
types of things.
Yeah,
and it
that's the whole
amazes me
community.
every day, yeah.
But he's hit the nail on the head. Community. I mean, I wouldn't say we necessarily. I mean, you may not know any of us, or you may know some of us, but we may not be the most popular streamers on Twitch yet. But
Some of us
you
have been
do
nutty.
know that the folks that pop in to say hi are often the same people time and time again, and they're the ones that message you when you've skipped a day because of deathly illness, and they're like, "What's happened to you? Is everything okay?" And you're like, "Yeah, I just had to, I got up late." And they're the ones that keep coming back and making it worthwhile every single time. So build those communities.
So
They're
yeah,
really,
jumping back
really-
to the question, why be a character streamer on top of the amazing community?
There's a Jim Henson, somebody you might have heard of, had a great thing called the conspiracy of craziness. And what he means is the moment that anyone buys into an idea and a concept, they then share in that idea and concept. It's the same reason that Star Wars is as popular as it is. It's the moment that you all recognize that this is a fun world to play around in, and that there are rules and there are ways to try to trip up this person and to play around with them in such a different way. It makes for such a fun, different way to interact with people than just being like, "Oh, hey, what's up? My name's Joe. How are you doing today?" It's like, "Oh, well, now you get to ask me, do I eat cartridges?" And I get to answer that. And you get to ask me strange questions about being a video game console. And I get to find creative ways to answer that, like I totally had it planned out for a million years. But it's just the moment that you get an idea in someone's head that they all share, and can all kind of propagate around. It's so infectious, and it's so cool that the moment that someone who doesn't understand it or doesn't get it, it's like, "Oh no, this guy's totally a talking video game console. This guy's totally a TV." No, if you don't understand, you will in a couple minutes, but come hang out with us, have fun with this, instead of just being like, "Oh, I'm gonna pass it off," or whatever. And that's why you do it. You do it to find a fun way to interact with people. It's you can't just as a real person, if you go around and be like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna kill everyone in Megaton for the XP and then blow it up," it's like, "Oh my God, do we need to check you into a psych ward?" But all of a sudden you're a man that's boiling people alive if they don't say nice things about him, and all of a sudden it's
There's a story there. don't
"Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, you're amazing, you're wonderful, please don't boil me alive in lava." I buy
There's a
into
story
this.
there.
I like it. I love it. So,
He's talking
and
about
it,
you, right?
to sharing that with the community of people that get it is just it's a fun thing, and it's a fun thing to share with people.
Just biz.
I'm glad
Can
you guys
we-
are taking notes that you're clapping just after Biz.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's just
Can't
after
copy
biz,
someone's
we
work
clap.
after this.
Not us.
Become the biz-only panel about 20 minutes here. Just stick around. I'll just bombard everybody until they can't talk anymore.
Yeah, pretty much what
The
Biz said.
Zen of SNES.
Why be a character streamer? Pretty much what Biz said, honestly. It lets you do things that you can't do as a regular streamer, Like people will believe that he is a real talking television. No, television. I'm the talking television. The talking video game console, right?
You were the
And-
toaster.
Used.
You were
I'm
a
not
toaster.
No, the TV. Don't you see?
It's where the toast goes.
No. Stop. What do you mean?
We don't have that where I come from.
God damn it. They're being bullies. All right. They're being
Has he got a
bullies.
crumb tray? Oh wait, those are okay.
Those are legs.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No. But yeah, the question I get asked the most is probably, how do you do that? How are you moving around? How are you waving at me right now? Why does your gun shoot bubbles? Why is your hand on fire? Stuff like that happens on the stream regularly, right? And that's the fun thing about being a character streamer. You can do that. You can turn into something completely insane that that you have in the back of your head, and just on a whim you can just hit a switch and you can do magical stuff on stream that nobody else are doing, right? And that's what I find, that's the reason why I want to be a character streamer. I want to blow minds. That's what I want to do. And being a character streamer allows you to do that. So that's why I would be a character streamer.
Well, you gotta clap.
Don't. It's
You
only
have
after
lots of fun.
this.
Being polite, I like it. Good job.
One of the things that's really good about being a character streamer that you can take advantage of and that will aid you in your endeavor of pursuing your own success on Twitch is that each and every person, whether it's a viewer or a streamer, has something epic about them. It's unique, it's epic, it's different. And this is your opportunity on Twitch to shine. With your stream, it is your chance to take the spotlight and shine. And think to yourselves, what about me is the unique component? What really shines? And take that all the way to 11. Take it to 13. And it will suit you in your pursuit of success. It will help show what is unique about you. And it helps, I think. And not only visually, but it will help that part of your personality develop and grow, because in our normal lives, we are given mundane challenges, and the world of video gaming provides great challenge where we have to become our better selves to overcome it. So Twitch is very similar in that regard, so we can become our best selves, a whole new self.
Best sound.
Crusade!
Sorry, did I interrupt that last bit?
Oh, no, you're good.
No, we only clap after this.
No, yeah, don't clap. Don't clap.
Why be a character streamer? I play a character called the Flaming Monocle. Now, you may have noticed that I'm not actually ablaze right now. And that is because, well, not least because health and safety laws that don't allow me to have naked flames in this entire building. But
He definitely didn't lose a mega fight that we all had out back before this panel. Definitely not.
But this is the first time I've ever been in full costume, and I'm kind of hoping it's working. But it's thank you. But I wanted to be a supervillain. I specifically wanted to be like a Dickensian tying maidens to train tracks kind of supervillain. But I wanted something different, so a friend and I, we kind of bashed heads together, and I thought, I've got to have this evil shtick, and he suggested to me, why not just go the full monocle route? And I go, why? A villain with a monocle, what's new there? And I said, why not make it on fire? I thought, you're an absolute genius. You're completely unique now. So if I take this away, I'm just a standard stock Victorian-style gent, but the monocle goes in, and I start driving a Jaguar. I haven't got to that bit yet. And then suddenly, very, very evil indeed. And once you've got that sort of, once I've got that sort of evil vibe going, it's very, very easy to fall into a totally different version of me. So when I'm speaking to you guys, I'm speaking with this voice, but when I'm on my stream, I'm like, hello, my name is the Flaming Monocle, and I have a very slightly different voice, which is just totally changes who I am as a person, and now I'm very evil, and you know, lava shall happen soon. And then you've got to try and think of schemes and stuff, and that's the hard bit, because I've got the whole villain shtick going, but I don't
Hello, my name is Trightmare, the Kigurumi King.
Yo, it's El Dirty Squirrel
cause a
here,
minor setback,
coming to you with a special message straight from the treehouse.
This is Scribbly, everybody's favorite talking toaster. I mean TV, not a toaster.
Greetings! This is the Flaming Monocle, and push the button.
Who do we want to feel welcome on Twitch?
Anyone who wants to get in touch with their inner character.
24.
How are you?
Because some characters are nuttier than others, and that's okay. A chance to get lost in worlds. I mean, how many of you went and rented? I've rented The Never-Ending Story probably 13 times on VHS back in the day. But I got sucked into the movie and sucked into those worlds, and that's what's cool is I get to create these worlds and invite you guys to hang out and enjoy this world and just have a great time and have a place for people to release. And I think just having fun and giving you guys a chance to relax, kick back after work, or I hear a lot of people are at work watching me. They lurk in work, and yeah, I see that guy. Yeah. But it's an awesome feeling to give somebody a world to whisk away in the middle of their day or the end of their day or beginning. And it's just a great feeling, and I love people say, man, I love being taken to your treehouse and getting nutty with you middle of the day at work. So, cool, and that's just I love it. Yeah,
And also you get to wear cool stuff.
like a tail and ears.
Yeah.
These are real, actually. I'm serious.
I'm sorry.
They don't come off, we tried. like a lot.
Yeah, if I could just add one thing, it's like, roommate grew up and he was sick for most of his life, and so and it was in a really weird way. Like they couldn't figure out what was wrong with him, so he was always considered like this big faker. So like the moment he found theater and stuff like that, it was like, oh yeah, great, because like all of these assumptions and like, oh, he's a faker and he's always sick and like, oh, he constantly looks like he's on drugs. Long before I was on drugs, it was like finding characters that you could get escape into was a great way to like put your best foot forward, like, and all those people that just like assume things about you because of how you look or because you like maybe you have a stutter or something like that. Like a character is such a great way to, instead of like thinking of those things as a negative, it's a great way to find the things that are best about you and personify them into something that not only you care about, but hopefully other people will care about as well.
Yeah. Okay, so not only do we want you all to be a character streamer because it'll make Twitch a more entertaining place overall, we want to help you be a character streamer. So how do I'm not gonna do it. How do you develop a character streamer? So how did you go about it? What were the struggles you came into while doing it? Pros, cons?
Well, I'm roommate now, by the way. Hi. Not business, just the boy trapped in. If he wasn't trapped inside of a video game console, he would look and sound exactly like me. And that's the first thing. Find convenient outs of your characters. I mean, there are some people that are always in full character, and that is super awesome. Like, I wish like I could do like the full-on Dr. Disrespect thing, because he is just like a beacon of like, man, he is just always on and like always doing this amazing character. Like it's awesome. But like when it comes to finding a character, find the things about, like I just said, find the things about you that you want to personify and the things that you want to, help people experience better. Like I love the history of games, so it's like, yeah, I do this, but it's actually a way for me to trick you into learning video game history. Surprise. So like, it's like, don't do it just because like, oh, I think like, oh yeah, maybe having a character is the way to go. It's like, I saw a Super Nintendo and it just always looked like a face to me. And like, I just had to get it out of like, I had to get this idea out of my head, like that there was this character that just, originally I was supposed to be the person talking to the Super Nintendo. I wasn't going to be the actual talking Super Nintendo. But like, then the ideas just kind of morph and naturally find their way. So it's just like, don't force anything. The author Chuck Palahniuk said that writing's a lot like pooping. You never want to force it, because whenever you force it, terrible things are going to happen, and you're just going to sit on the toilet and you're going to be frustrated, and nothing's ever going to happen. Like everything has to come from a natural place. Like when you feel like you have to poop, that's the time to poop, right? Sorry, I'm from the Midwest. We're way too comfortable talking about these topics. But when it comes to being a character, like, find something that you like. If there's a voice that people have always latched onto, figure out a way to develop that. But like, really figure out. It's about finding the reasons why. It's not just like, oh, I'm a goofy SNES. It's like, well, I have this background that it's this cheating. Like I cheated on death, and I'm not good at video games. So it all ties into these things that are natural about me and the person that I am. But I found now a way, instead of finding a negative way to put them, I found a positive way to put them. It's like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter how bad I am at video games. I cheated death and then he trapped me in here. It's like, no kidding, I'm bad at video games. So it's just like, find ways and find things that like you don't feel like because somebody else did something that it's completely out of the way. It's out. Like the sandbox is still big enough for us all to play in, and it's like, it's so awesome sitting up here with characters that only want to help each other. Like all of us want to be up here and want to figure out how to make our characters stronger. And we've all, this team started 6 months ago. Like it started in December, which is way longer. That's like 9 months. I don't know. I sit in a room talking to myself most of the time. What is time anymore? But like, we've had memory. Saturday meetings for the last 9 months where it's like, we've dropped like little stuff like, oh, wouldn't it be great if Scrib did this, or wouldn't it be great if I did that? And like, it's just finding that natural build to things is the most important part to I think finding a character and building a character.
yeah, your criticisms and everyone's criticisms have helped me. They're very constructive, and we have to create an open environment where we can communicate with one another and help us all get the best show that we possibly can.
Especially when people tell us to get good stuff. That's,
Yeah.
that's the best
Get
kind
that
of
on a
criticism.
daily basis.
yeah.
Really helpful. Really helpful feedback.
Just 2 words.
Don't get hit.
good.
Yeah.
I still don't know what it means, but
I mean,
I got good.
I don't
Where do you
I don't
buy
really
good
know.
I don't know.
I don't really know how you develop a character. To me, it was the reason I started streaming on Twitch was because I was watching this other Twitch streamer called Hypathen, and shout outs to Hypathen, by the way, if you're watching. Good to see you. But he had to quit streaming for a while because life happens, right? So I was really bored on Twitch. I missed his content. I missed going to Twitch. I missed it a lot. So I got this patch notes update for Adobe After Effects because I worked as a graphics designer my whole life. And I saw this beta for this app called Adobe Character Animator. And, I downloaded it, installed it, and the first thing that popped into my head was, oh, I'm going to use this on Twitch. It's going to be great. So Scribbly was actually an old Illustrator file, no, Flash file, from like 8 years ago. So I made the character 8 years ago. And then I gave him life through Adobe Character Animator, and I put him up on Twitch. And I couldn't stop. I just kept on streaming. I didn't want to stop. And after like 5 months of hard work, it finally paid off. And I say the best way to develop a character is stick to it. The longer you do it, the better you'll get at it. And just have fun.
If I could just build on that, because I know when you first started, your character was fairly simple.
He was super
and if you
simple.
look at him today, he's like the ultimate Swiss Army toaster.
He is. God damn it.
I mean, it's digital puppeteering. Like,
He's the ultimate Swiss toaster now. When I started, he was super simple. Like, he didn't move his arms. He didn't do anything. Like, his hands couldn't take...
He has legs now.
We were in a Discord conversation, and you were there just fiddling with, you were supposed to be talking to me, and you were fiddling at the time, because I could see, because you left screen share on.
All right.
And you were giving weight to one of the antennae, and I was trying to talk to you about something very important. I can't remember what it was, but it was... And I just love the way that your character has developed and continues to develop.
Yeah, I've been working on the character like daily for a year now. This month is actually my 1 year celebration of streaming on Twitch. So it's been a year in the making.
yeah, and like things like what Scribbly is doing. Like, this is digital. Like, what I'm doing is like manual puppeteering. They have found out a way to do like this new digital puppeteering. Like, it is such a new field. Like, it's so exciting. Like, and just like the way that there are a million, I mean, look at all the different puppets that Jim Henson built. Like, some of them were gigantic, some of them just took your hand. Like, there are so many different ways to do this and so many different ways to use this now puppeteering technology that, like, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to take some time in the off period to figure out, like, how are you going to make your arms move? Like, what is natural to make this thing look like it's alive? Like, that's the tip of the iceberg is like being on stage and being like, hey, welcome, I'm here. It's like all this other stuff is like, how do I tap my foot to make my mouth in sync with the puppet while I play video games?
And that's something that I think Scrib didn't touch on as much as he should have. He is practicing with that puppet constantly. We will be in meetings or setting up for our Saturday shows. We've got Skype up. We're not live. And he's just like moving the puppet out, practicing. Like, we were just sitting there, wasn't talking.
It's not practicing, it's just habit now.
But I just looked over, I saw him like scratching his face and like,
Yeah.
like when he's drinking, he just changes to his drinking screen.
I do.
It's
It's
nonstop.
I don't know. It has become like a part of me. It's like an extension of myself now. So if I'm scratching my head, then Scribbly is actually scratching his head too. And not only that, but like I'll scratch my head with this arm, and I'll manually scratch Scribbly's arm with this hand. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I think
It's the
first
point
time
now where you have to fondle something whenever you do it in real life.
I think first time that I ever played games with Biz off stream, I just went, "Are you still tapping your foot?" He went,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and another great thing is like, I will, and sometimes like I let my personal stuff get through, but like for the most part, like it's a great shield almost to have this character. Like, I will have bad days. SNES does, like, no matter what, like, SNES didn't have the day that I had, and whatever is weighing on my mind doesn't weigh on this mind. And you know, just like when you're when there's that performance high, if anybody's like actually done like live stage performance, like if you're sick, you know, the moment that you get up on stage, like boom, that sickness is gone. It's like, oh, whatever is in like your real life, it doesn't matter, because like you get to go up on stage and perform. And that's like one of the ways that I've always used it. It's like, yeah, it doesn't like matter if I miss that bill or like something's not right. Like I get to go on this and make people laugh for as long as I want. Like there's literally nobody telling me to stop except me. Like, this is great, I just get to go. So it's like, find a way to like make the best parts and do what you want to do with your time.
So, Trite, I've watched your character develop I watched you just after you started wearing kigurumis too.
Yeah, that's true.
And that was amazing to watch.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of individuals here at the table had foresight, and foresight. No. Here's the thing. So, I went to school for simulation, animation, and video game design.
Oh, we all did
3D
that.
is my medium. I'm a 3D modeler, and I use approximately none of that in my broadcast. Go figure. So, one of the reasons that I started streaming was because I was working on indie game projects and people just kept flaking. So I said, you know what, I want to start a project that only I'm in control of. This is only me. And I knew about face rig, and I was like, I'll whip up a model, we'll do face rig, it's going to be a whole thing. And then I realized, well, there's something very important missing. I have no idea how to be an entertainer. And then I said, well, that's probably a prerequisite. So let's go ahead and spin up some channel of any name. So I typed in a random name, and I was like, I want to learn how to do the stream thing. And so I started streaming various games. It had some sort of a following, and then somehow it started getting a lot of attention, more than I wanted it to, because it was just an experiment. So it's like, crap, okay, it's working. Now I've got to quickly just figure something out. Quick, think of a cool name. Oh yeah, like XX Super Warrior Ninja. Yeah, and I'll model like a ninja, and it'll be the sweetest face rig ever. Oh man, that's a really bad name. 10-year-olds probably could come up with a better name.
You saw my old character.
And just so I made a list of literally 400 names. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I made a list of 400 names, and every single one was bad.
Except Trite Man.
There is a reason why Trite is in my name, and it's the first part of my name. Out of 400 names, nothing was good. And I sat back and I reflected on myself, which is an important part of streaming. You have to reflect and get to know yourself. I am really not creative. Ooh, dang, that hurts to admit to yourself. And so I said, every name I've come up with is trite, and making a name is a nightmare. Wait a minute. And so still, even then, no character, no real plan, just a theme. Going live was important. Learning the business is important. Learning the technology is important. Not you.
Sorry, I was about to say it, but I didn't want to interrupt you on the panel.
It's almost reflexive. Every time we say it, he's like, I'm business.
I'm business.
He's business.
So anyway, foresight is important, but it's not entirely necessary. So what ended up happening was, collaboratively, I used my inspirations, the stuff I liked, and I wove it into what eventually became a character. And chat helped. Chat was everything. They were the ones who started calling me a king. And so the day that after they did that, I went out and I bought a crown and a sword, and every time someone subscribed, I had already received partnership without even being a character. So, I mean, it's not entirely necessary, but I bought a crown and a sword, and every new sub was a Trite Knight. I knighted you. I gave you a name. We stored it in a database bot, etc. And that was only because someone was like, how many kigurumis do you have? Oh, I've got like 42 of them. Whoa, man. You must be like the Kigurumi King. And I was like, oh. Well, as a matter of fact, that's probably doable. You know?
Did a watery tart throw a sword at you?
Yes, it was the Lady of the Lake, as she's commonly known, coincidentally enough. But still, draw upon your inspirations, because the only reason that I wear a kigurumi is because of the YouTuber known as Dodger, aka Dex Bonus, who did a show called Friend Zone Live, where everybody sat down, played a game, and wore a kigurumi. That's the only reason. So you don't have to be Like, you don't have to sit down and have this large, grandiose plan. Weave together what you like. Let chat help develop and make note of who you are, because we can't always be the most observant about ourselves. And you can, eventually that will build, it'll turn into a theme, and the theme will build into a character as soon as it takes a life of its own. And you'll know that moment, and then you run like the wind with it.
I'm not gonna talk for very long now, but I think when it comes to developing a character, the most daunting prospect is often, I don't think I have what it takes to be a character streamer. And the truth of the matter is, it's a very small amount you need to be a character streamer, which is you need to be passionate about the character that you wish to portray, which doesn't need to be elaborate, or this. But it does need to be something that you're incredibly passionate about. Because if you're not, then 6 months down the line, it's kind of, you may still have the funny moustache and the donut for a head or whatever you've done. You may have tried Adobe Character Animator and your 30-day trial ran out. And really all you need is a character that is something that you're passionate about, that, I said earlier, anyone can turn on a camera. You can do that too. Play some video games in the style that, what would your character do when you were playing that video game? What would your character do if you were, if there may be creative, I don't know if any of you are doing creative streams as a character. That might be quite cool. I'd like to see more of that. That'd be awesome.
We got some people.
Yeah? I mean, creative streamers. Come on. That'd be, yeah.
There we go.
Woo. You're all awesome. And the rest of you are awesome too. But if you're passionate about what it is that you want to do as a character streamer, the worst that can happen is that maybe people don't take to it immediately. Or maybe it becomes something else naturally. If it does that, wonderful. My character originally was none of this. It was a friend of mine who did a piece of fan art. I say fan art, it was my childhood friend from like next door. But she drew a picture of what she imagined the flaming monocle to be. And I was like, I'm going to be that. And I loved it so much that I took it to this level. And my girlfriend made the cape, which I'm kind of half wearing at the moment, and my monocle's fallen off. And I've got a bit of a
We've got you.
We've got a bit of a wardrobe malfunction going on at the moment, but
Flaming malfunction.
A monocle slip.
But this is sheerly a result of just being the character I wanted to be, and the community grew up around that, and that is an unimaginably cool feeling. So even to have 20 people in your chat, and they're all there because you are you. It doesn't matter what game you're playing. It doesn't matter what you're doing. They're there because they want to see you do your character. And it just blows my mind every time I sit in front of my computer and play inevitably some terrible, I don't know, something I got off Keymailer the other day, which I've never heard of, and play it, and it crashes my computer.
That's like video game roulette, basically.
I mean, I have 6,500 Steam games at the moment, so I just press random, and then like, okay, we're gonna play that today, and inevitably I'll have whole streams where no games actually get played, but my character reacting to the fact that there's nothing going on. It's like, curses this blasted game, you... I was going to expletive there, but...
Watch it.
'Tis but a mere setback, and so on and so forth, and it's how your character deals with it. It is inevitably going to be... You're going to have hard days and bad days, but be your character, and inevitably it will go the direction that it needs to go in. Thank you very much indeed. You made help.
Yeah, I think you guys hit on some strong points of make sure you want to do that. If you want to be a dancing squirrel in a treehouse, like make sure Friday you're still going to want to be a dancing squirrel in a treehouse, because like you have to commit. And something I really tell people to do, it's two things. I keep a book and I just write ideas, bad ideas, good ideas, write them all down and try to build a cohesive brand and character, and don't be afraid to reach out to friends or start a conversation with your friends or your teammates and share some ideas, bounce some ideas. Some of the best ideas I've gotten we're just starting conversations with, and I see some faces out here that I've talked to, people just having these conversations and coming up with new ideas. And also get a waterproof notebook, because the best ideas come in the shower. I really do. I find myself jumping out of the shower to go jot an idea down and then go back to being El Clean Squirrel. But yeah, I think there's a lot of good points, but just there's no bad idea. Write them down, bounce them off some people, and build your character. And it's not done in a day, because I was this, and then a few months later I was in a treehouse. A few months later I'm dancing around. Like, it builds.
I'd argue that it's never done.
Huh?
I'd argue that
it's never done. Yeah, no, you're right. It's never done. And I have a long list of things that I want to do, and like I finish something on that list, and then something else cues right back into the list. So like, it's never done. I always have something that I'm working on, and I've told my wife I've never worked harder, and I've never been happier. And in putting in 12 to 16-hour days, 6 hours on stream, and the rest of the time off stream, doing creative things and coming up with ideas. And it's the happiest I've ever been for sure.
Yep. Never settle. Like, the moment you start settling and the moment you start getting comfortable, the moment things start getting weak. If you don't think something lines up, I had this idea for years. It was going to be a YouTube series before it was going to be a Twitch channel. And I tested out other people with the voices, and I didn't like it. I didn't like where it was going. I didn't like what the puppet looked like, the initial puppet. And, so it's just like, I didn't do it until I was happy with everything that I had. Like, I knew that, I've got this cool toasty alert, and I've got at least, the puppet at least looks good at this point. So it's just like, if you're not ready to go, like, don't half anything. Like, you have to be satisfied with what you're doing first if you want anybody else to be satisfied with what you're doing. If you know that something, like, looks a little off or doesn't feel natural, that's the moment that people are going to know. Like, you have to take that time. Like, you have to spend so many hours just kind of practicing to make sure that, like, this is the thing that you want to do. But Groucho Marx had a great quote. He said, I never told anybody what was funny. I always just did what I wanted, and it was up to them to choose. And that is another thing with not settling. Never pander either. Like, if somebody thinks, like, this is a good idea, like, maybe incorporate it, but don't think you have to do something just because somebody tells you to do it. Do the things that you know are going to be best for your character, and do the things that you think are going to make you stand out. Like, people are having success because they started using this particular type of voice changer. I'm going to start using it. Well, why are you using it? Are you using it in a productive way that makes sense with your stream, or are you just using it because you saw somebody else have success with the same thing? Like, yeah, you can totally have success with it as well if it makes sense within the context of what you're doing. If it doesn't make sense, well, then you're starting to get into that kind of weird pandering area, and that's stuff that you don't want to do.
Good.
So we have, I think, roughly 15 minutes. I don't know how strict our get out time is, but questions? There's mics line up if you guys have questions.
Otherwise, we just have to stare at you awkwardly for 15 whole minutes.
They'll do it. They'll do it. I'm not kidding.
And be judged.
Yeah, we're
It's
very
a good-looking
He's
crowd,
a really
though.
good starer, by the way. Yes. Hello.
Hi. So my question is, do you think it's possible to be a character streamer and then also on the same channel be yourself, or do you have to kind of commit to the character and never be you?
Well, I actually do both on
Yeah.
my stream, and I've found a way to kind of weave it in. Like I said, I'm the silent yet devilishly handsome roommate, but if he wasn't trapped inside of a video game console, he would look and sound exactly like me because we're twin brothers. Isn't that convenient? It's really up to how, like, the level of character. Like, to be honest, I really wish I could have gotten into this in, like, a Dr. Disrespect level of, like, I get to always be on. But some people don't have that. But, like, it all depends on how you want this character perceived. Like, I'm okay letting myself kind of bleed through into this character because that's kind of how I set it up, and I want people to appreciate me as well as the character. But it all kind of depends on the character you're building. If your character is kind of, out there and wacky, and you want to kind of really move it away from you, then absolutely, I would say have a second channel. But if you're totally comfortable figuring out a way to say it, or just be like, yeah, it's an off day. Like, this is just a me day. People get excited about that too, because then they get to see the person behind the mask, and there's really nothing bad about that either. So, because you're just as important as the person behind the character.
It's kind of like being a variety streamer, right? Like you'll play a game for a certain while, and then you'll have an audience that come in for that game. And once you switch games, like some people might not like that content, but other people might, right? So that's the thing. Like if you're switching out your personality on stream, going from a character streamer to yourself, then some people are there for the character, and some people are there to watch you do your thing, right? So what I did was that I started a second channel where I just stream myself doing creative stuff, where I work on Scribbly's show, and I don't promote that channel at all. Nobody knows about that. So it's probably the wrong way to do things, but
Yeah, except for all of us. We know.
yeah, except for all
we
of
know.
these guys, right? But yeah, no, it's totally doable for sure,
I think
and I
having-
highly recommend it. Like if that's what you feel like is what you want to do it. Because as long as you have fun, that's going to reflect on the stream, and people are going to enjoy that. So by all means, do what you
Yeah.
want to do.
You done? Nice. Yeah, totally. I think have an out, but also be very mindful. It always is in the back of my head when I'm not my character, which is my backstory is that, the moon was out on my planet, so like when the moon's full moon, I turn back into a human for that day. Like, so that's like my out. But be mindful that if you put all this time and energy into being a character streamer, when somebody stops by, you have a new person stops by, you have a limited window. So they may see you out of character, and then next time show up and you're in character, and they're like, what the hell? Or maybe they don't come back. Maybe they would have stayed if you were the character. So just be mindful that like, if you're gonna put all this energy into be a character, sometimes if somebody sees you out of character, it could affect if they want to stay or not. So.
Yeah, and just to put a cherry on top, Twitch is definitely not a sprint, it's a marathon. You are going to need to be consistent, and you're going to need to be consistent for years. So what do you think the most sustainable thing is? If we were to liken this to something like exercise, you're somewhat asking, should I start with 400 pounds, or should I just go with 8-pounders? And what's healthier for you is probably going to be a little bit lower weight, and scale it up over time, and let it grow, start it up, create the content. It's its own art form. You will grow with it. And you want to incorporate you in there. You don't want to go so far on the other end of the spectrum that you're nowhere to be found. So that's totally to your discretion.
Yeah, I didn't want people to think I was ever I'm never hiding behind my character. And I think for a while there was kind of like this really weird misconception, like, oh, it's because he doesn't like showing his face, or he's super awkward and stuff like that. No, I prefer 98% of the time that I channel all of my stuff and what I want to do through this character instead of being me. Just because like I said, I think it's way more interesting. But yeah, every once in a while, yeah, you do get exhausted, and you don't want to do this, but you still want to stream. So I mean, it's really about finding that balance. And there are some people that think like, oh, it's just all about the character and stuff like that. But it's like, really remember that the person behind it is just as important, and there are times to find the spotlight. And there are times to let the character shine, and there are times to let you shine. And finding that balance is a really important thing.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
We're going to go to the back mic now.
First of all, I like the panel there, guys. I love the costumes and everything up there. Awesome.
Is that Gamer Biker?
It is.
What's up, brother?
So my question is to you guys. I actually got recognized. How about that? My question to you guys is that when I first started my stream, I went right off the bat into the character. I never really developed into it. I just picked a hobby, went with it, and started streaming. But of course, when we all start streaming, sometimes we struggle with the viewership or try to maintain that viewership. So my question to you guys is, when you first started doing it, what are some of the biggest challenges that you really incorporated to try and keep that viewership to you, to your character, you know, what are some advice you could probably give to everybody that might be struggling with that?
The people that stick around are the people that care.
Yeah.
And the people that, you know, it's just like, yeah, some people are going to think it's a gimmick, or some people are going to, you know, kind of flash in the pan. But, you know, I didn't set out to be the giant Twitch streamer. I set out because I know that there are those weirdos on at 2 o'clock in the morning that want some really weird stuff to watch. And I would much rather have those 20 weirdos watching me than 300 normal people. It's like, I totally understand that some people are going for that mass audience, and that's totally fine. You can go for as many viewers as you want, but I will say, like, the best communities and the best people that follow you, you know, like, I love Mystery Science Theater, and, you know, it was off the air for 10 years, and it became the biggest Kickstarter of all time, because the fan base, you know, they were never really that vocal, but when it came time to, like, kick in, everybody kicked in, because the community around it just loved it and cared about it, because it was this weird thing that not everybody was a part of. So instead of not worrying that you don't have enough people watching, celebrate the people that are.
Yeah, I'll call back to the panel last year, I think, where General Mitten said that having a character can give you a platform and a message. And I think it was in one of the major Twitch speeches, he said, he's like, if you're not trying to promote a positive message, then what are you doing? You know, like, if you don't have a clear message to communicate, then what are you doing? So, yeah, that resonated with me greatly when ultimately reaching this stage. I didn't have a voice before. When I marketed myself, I marketed what I did and not who I was. Because at the end of the day, I was a person wearing a kigurumi on Twitch, which is not great. But now I am the Kigurumi King, and we crusade for kindness, caring, compassion, and community. Are you ready to become a Trite Knight? Very easy. You want to sell who you are, not what you do. And if you think about whatever you wish to do personally and whatever resonates with you, build that message. It's not about what you do, it's about who are you, who you are. And just tell me, and I'll tell you if I like it or not by watching. And then you don't even, just toss your business cards in the trash after that. Just kidding, that's the bad advice.
Don't worry if he's not watching, do it anyway. If you're enjoying it, just do it.
Do it.
That's true.
What's stopping you? Hi.
Cool.
I forgot, it's the crippling anxiety, isn't it? Normie.
All right, cool. I think
All
we
right.
have time for like one
Thank
more
you,
question.
everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So you guys are always not always in character, but when you are in character on stream, have you ever had a moment where you dropped character accidentally, and how did you recover from it?
Oh yeah.
You blame it on the roommate. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you
gotta
wanna
have a
pick
scapegoat
character
on
that, like,
standby.
you're comfortable, and that, yeah, you figure out, you know, the longer you do the character, the easier it becomes to not get tripped up. So it's just a matter of, like, going through it, like, all right, so what is your backstory? And the stronger your backstory is, the easier it is, like, those things that are gonna trip you up, like those weird questions and stuff like that the chat is gonna give you. The stronger you have a backstory and the better you have all of this planned out, the just more you have to draw from then when it comes to, like, answering questions and stuff like that. And you then find ways, you know, like, I didn't originally have, like, the whole, like, roommate thing worked out. It's just kind of something that I figured out naturally from, like, oh, people, like, kept seeing me stick the thumbs up into the channel, and I would move things around, or, like, yeah, oh, like, hey, roommate, can you help me out? Like, my headphones are off, like, when I needed to adjust things. So it just kind of came out of, like, oh, well, you need to figure out a way, but, like, the more you do it and the more you practice, the more you'll give yourself outs to figure out ways to get
There
through
are
it.
also times when things will come crashing back down to reality. Something will happen in the chat where things kind of have to get serious for a moment. You have to deal with something which you can't do as a funny skit or a bit that your character does. Sometimes you really have to be like, okay, serious face now. We're going to deal with this quickly, or we're going to deal with this appropriately, or something's come up, or something like that. And I think if it's one of those situations where you need to drop out of character, then generally speaking, most people are really quite accepting of that, and they will never hold it against you. But as for dropping out of character accidentally, of course it happens, but I think if you live your character, you're really passionate about it, then oftentimes you can turn it around without people really knowing that you've dropped the baton. But sometimes, yeah, you do need to come back and be serious for a second and be like, okay, let's do this. We're moving over here to this box now. That's dealt with. Let's go back to video games.
Yeah, I like to look at it like a sine wave, and over time you kind of increase your frequency. So above the wave, you're in character. Below, sine waves go like this.
There's going to be a test
And
on this, I know.
the more frequency is, the more back and forth that you get. And eventually, you're going to be dropping, you're going to be in character, you're going to drop it for a second, you died. Wait, you got to get back into it. Oh, you died. Someone's spamming your chat and you need to ban them. Oh, back in. And then as you progressively continue to be a character streamer, you're going back and forth so fast that everyone thinks you're just in character the whole time. But it becomes a blur to them, but you realize, like, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, this, yep, that, oh,
You'll
yep,
also
out.
be doing sex ed later, so.
Yeah. Anyway. Dastardly.
You're the ones with the dirt.
I'll explain that. I'll explain that later to you, Scripps.
Okay.
Just like stage plays, confidence is key, and it's not a mess up unless you let the audience know it's a mess up as well, and that's a big thing. Like, they don't know that you flubbed a line, or they don't know that you messed up until you let them know that you've messed up. So if you find a way to sell through it, you're gold. Every situation.
All right, cool. I think we can squeeze in one more because nobody's picking me
Yeah,
up on it.
we'll keep going until they kick us out of this place.
Let's squeeze them
really
both in.
will.
Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Let's do two quick
Do it.
ones.
Quick ones.
Yeah, two fast ones.
Cool. Yes or no?
Hey, Squirrel.
Hey.
Suck a
Is
five.
that Puck? Is that my dad?
That's my dad.
Okay.
Suck a five, Bob.
I'm sorry?
I said suck a
Oh,
five.
yeah, I will suck farts. Yes.
But honestly, it said that characters are a reflection of who you are as a person, or not who you are as a person. For you guys, are they reflections of yourself?
Yes.
I came up with mine because I wanted it to be exactly the opposite of everything I was. Because I play positivity, I play video games, I always want to be the good guy, and generally speaking, I'm a genial fellow when I'm outside of Monocle, but when I'm on stream, I'm like, cool, time to do all the bad things, and really get that out of my system. That was my deal.
I think there's no way not to. I think part of yourself is going to blend into your character no matter what you do, especially if you stream for 6, 8, 10 hours a day. Like, it's just going to blend. But
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the beauty of it. I mean, you want it to.
Especially when your closest friends start calling you by your Twitch name.
Right.
Yeah. Which is?
Yeah, it's definitely a personification of who I am. I missed something over here.
You played the long game, my friend.
Yes. And it couldn't have worked out more beautiful.
That was identity theft.
You can use it too. Let's switch. Now you're was stupid.
Good night, everybody. We're just gonna be up here playing with our name tag. No. Yeah, I guess. Next question.
Yeah. Thanks, Bucks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
So I have a character that I've been developing since high school for a very long time, and on my stream, I do a lot of voices. I'm one of those where I read the stuff, and I just kind of do various voices and whatnot. I just how it works out. But I have a character that I've been developing, and I'm looking for a specific software because I can animate pretty well. I have an exact idea of what I want to animate, kind of like that Phoenix Wright style. But I want to be able to have a software where I can click a button and it starts the emote of that emotion. And then when I speak, it starts responding into the voice animating thing. Okay, what is
Talk
this?
to Scribs.
I need to know. I need to know what this is, please.
Adobe Character
because my
Animator.
characters is so exciting and fun. That's why I gotta get into it.
Adobe Character Animator is what you need.
Hashtag sponsor, hashtag.
Yeah.
Hashtag ad.
Adobe, please sponsor us. We're poor and we need
If you're looking for a character
sponsorships.
animation.
God, we would love all of your software. It's amazing, and I love editing with Premiere.
Well, there's two of
It
them.
always works. It's robust.
Yeah, character
It never
animator
goes
would
bad.
be best for 2D artwork, but there's also a 3D alternative called Face Rig as well. So either of those work. And actually, if you use an ink and paper shader system, it will be 3D, but it will appear 2D. So that's because, I don't know, just Basically, character animator is what Flash was.
No.
It's a big part of Flash, isn't it?
No, it has nothing to do with Flash.
Wait, hold on. So the timeline is completely separate. The layering
yeah.
system is
Yeah.
different.
If anything, it's more similar to.
This could
After
go on for a
Effects.
long time.
Oh, okay. All right. So scratch what I just said, but you do have options.
And it's
You
part of
got options,
After
but
Effects.
check out Adobe
After
Character
Effects.
Animator.
Character
It's
Animator?
super easy to use, very easy to get into,
And a steal at only
and
$12
it
a
does
month.
exactly what you want.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay, nobody's booted us out yet, but I think we're at our time limit, so thank you, all of you, for being up here. Thank all of you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
So, quick, going down the line.
Business.
Scribbly.
Trightmare.